Hello, and welcome to the show. How's everyone doing today?
Doing good. Doing
Doing
good.
doing good. Welcome to all of our guests. This is going to be playing on the I Want to Believe channel for another couple of weeks, but we are going to be switching over to our new channel, Paranormally Speaking. And so just make sure that you guys subscribe to the new show on the new channel. And also we are on Twitch, so you can catch us there also. And in another couple of weeks, we're going to be adding X to the lineup as well. X. X. My son, when he was little, this is so cute. I don't know what his thing was, but he used to dress up, and he used to dress up as Link from from Zelda, like the Zelda series, and little green, he had a little green hat, and he had the tunic and the whole bit. I made him this costume, and he used to stand there and he'd go X, big X, little X. We don't know what that was about, but it was very interesting for him. So he'd be out on the front lawn and he'd be like X, and it was almost like Wonder Woman X. It's pretty cute.
I love it. Kids do the neatest things.
Huh?
Kids do the neatest things, don't they? Honestly,
they really do. They do. They're so sweet. They're so sweet.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing this week? How's everything?
Go ahead, Trevor.
Doing good. So we're kind of wrapping up some evidence review on a few investigations. That's been busy. We got a trip to Sumter coming up, our annual team trip. We do a couple of team trips every year. We go spend a weekend out in Sumter, Oregon, where they filmed Ghost Mines, bed and breakfast out there. We was able to befriend the owners, and we get to go out there every year for a weekend and do a little team get together, a little ghost hunting, and then of course we do the Gooding University Inn every year as well. But this next weekend is Sumter, so that's pretty exciting. And so that's pretty much it on the ghost front. How about you, Lynda? You got anything fun coming up?
Yeah, I got some fun things. Well, of course, my Europe trip is looming, which is fun. But also my calendar is exploding because now all of the Halloween and all of the October things are all coming in. So we have things planned like every single week, and multiple things some weeks as well. So I'm going to have to get a lot of sleep in order to actually deal with October, because October is looking really scary in my agenda.
Yeah, I guess that's the busy time of the year for all of us ghost hunters, right? That's just when everybody's like, oh yeah, there's ghosts out there. Hey, let's go do something.
Yeah.
Right?
Or that's when they watch the horror movies and then decide that their house is haunted. So
Oh yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
That's where we come in.
But on The Conjuring, they said this, and this is the same thing's happening.
Right, exactly. My toaster's talking to me. Really? Haunted talking toaster. Film it alone.
That's the next great movie, right? Next great horror movie, The Haunted Toaster.
You never know when it's gonna pop.
Yeah. Toast pops up with the number of days you have left to live.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
if you don't eat the toast, you die.
I like it. I like it.
Oh my goodness.
Too funny.
Oh,
Too funny. Yeah, this is always a fun. I am one of those weird ones. I am not a. I mean, back when my kids were little, I used to love the trick or treating and stuff like that. I'm not a Halloween person. I know I am probably a bad investigator or a bad psychic or whatever. I'm not a Halloween fan. I have nothing against it. I think it's fun, but I don't go out. I don't do anything. The only thing I do is I have to make sure my cat doesn't get out every time those little Halloween people come to the door. And, those little werewolves, they want to pet my kitty cat and he wants to run around. And every time I open the door, he's like, And so for me, it's not, you know, I'm okay. I'm okay with not having Halloween. Like I'm not, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, I can't wait for Halloween. And you know what I mean? I decorate my house. I put up, little ghosties and whatever. And I get a lot of candy and I have fun with the kids, but that's it. I'm not, I know people, there's probably somebody out there going, oh, how could she be a paranormal investigator and not?
Well, I like Halloween.
I love Christmas.
I love Halloween too. Well, my wife, she won't let me put up the decorations that I want to put up because apparently they're too mature and too gory, and and so she has to rein me in. And I have to make the little silly ones for the little kids. It's not nearly as fun. But the hard part for me is like I'll spend like a lot of time and effort decorating my house for Halloween, but that also I'm an elk hunter, and the elk season falls on Halloween every year. So I'm never home. If I get the tag, I'm never home for Halloween. And it's like, and so I never get to enjoy it. But the thing about Halloween that most people don't realize
the animals in the woods don't dress up for you or anything like that. Like that'd be actually pretty cute. Hey, some of these elks with like these haunted eyes.
I'm not an elk. I'm a bunny rabbit.
Yeah.
Halloween is the one holiday out of the year where kids all over the world realize their parents are full of crap. Because I want you to think about this. I mean, you teach your kids when they're young, you don't talk to strangers. You never get into a car with a stranger. You never take candy from a stranger. But we take them to strangers' houses to get candy.
Right.
So what's that about? Don't get candy from stranger kids except for this one day out of the year.
Yeah. All the rules are dropped on this one day.
It's good.
I used to love taking my daughter's Halloweening, and then my son was born and I was all excited because I thought, oh good, I get more years. My middle daughter, my oldest one at that time, when he was born was 14, and then my daughter was 9. And so they were already kind of getting out. Obviously, my 14-year-old was not into the Halloweening at that point. The 9-year-old was kind of like, she was kind of getting out of it. And so I have my son and I'm all like, whoa, I get to go Halloweening. Because I thought that was fun. It was fun. And I think, a couple of years he kind of tolerated it. And then he was just like, no, this is stupid. I am not doing Halloween. And I'm like, don't you want to go? You want to get candy? I can go to the store and we can buy candy there. It was like, you're way too much logic for a freaking 5-year-old. Yeah,
it's too much work. I don't want to walk that far. Come on. At least I go to the store.
Literally, he was like, I don't want that. Yeah, he was like, why don't you just buy the candy that I like and I'll just eat.
I don't want that knockoff Tootsie Rolls that aren't even chocolate. They're just like weird flavored things and, cheap freaking suckers. Yeah. So.
Do you know what's interesting? This is really interesting. I remember when my brain went when I realized that the rocket candies.
I love those. Those are my favorite. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in Canada are called rockets, but in the US they're called Smarties. Did you know that?
Oh, I was like, I've never heard of rockets before, and so sometimes my wife's hanging out in the background here, and she's from Canada, and she probably would have been like, oh yeah, I know what a rocket is. And I've been like, yes, it goes into space.
But what do you guys call Smarties? Like, what are Smarties?
Here they're called, we have Smarties here. Yep.
They're called Smarties. I don't think you actually have Smarties there, though. The ones that...
You don't have do you have the chocolate coated candy Smarties?
No, they don't.
Nope.
Isn't that
what kind of society do you live in? How do you function? You don't even have Kinder eggs. Literally, you guys.
We live in a society of it's the illusion of freedom. It is just an illusion. We only get what they allow us to have. So we don't get the chocolate covered Smarties. We're not even aware of such
you guys don't
things.
ban guns, but you ban Kinder Surprises.
We're pretty much, we pretty much regressed to a third world dictatorship nation at this point.
Yeah.
Because, it's just like, you may not have these fun things that they have in Canada. No, you will eat heavily chemicalized and processed foods instead.
Yeah.
It's I don't know what I'm missing, but hey, I've tried ketchup chips and gross. No. So you can keep those. So as far as I know, those chocolate covered Smartie things are probably terrible. I don't know. So
no, they're like M&Ms. The
okay.
Yeah, they're like
see, I'm trying to remember some of the things that my wife really likes from up there. Like she really likes glossettes.
Yep.
Yeah, I like glossettes.
Are those peanuts? Like, are those
chocolate covered raisins, chocolate covered peanuts? Yeah.
Right.
I think the peanut ones she really likes those. And then macaroons are a really big deal for her.
Yeah.
And they're like, they look like miniature M&Ms. What are they?
Mini eggs? I don't know.
I don't know. They reminded me of like miniature M&Ms.
Maybe Skittles?
Huh?
Skittles.
No, we have Skittles. Come on, we're not like that. We have Skittles. We can taste the rainbow in the United States, all right? It's I can't remember. Anyway, I don't know where she would be able to tell me. So, all right, rockets. I'll have to. And they're like, are they like the little candies or like the big chalky type? Like somebody took a Tums and they rolled it with a rolling pin. You know what I'm talking about?
The little ones.
Okay. Because my wife really likes those ones too, and I never. It's like
there's no limit to the rockets I will shove into my mouth. Like literally.
I'm glad you specified. I'm glad you specified. You said rockets and not things, and I was going to jump all over that. No, what kind of show was this?
See, you know what that would be? That would be a news story now, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
Good segue. And speaking
this
of
week, Kathy shoved this in her mouth.
Yeah, it'd be one of those in the fantasy land tales of things.
Yeah, so we're going to do a new segment for our show. And there it is, the haunted headlines. It sounds better if I had like an echo going or something. I don't know.
We can make an echo. So we can add an echo to it. You just give me your voice and I will make it echoey.
No, don't do the voice. Do the voice. Believe it or not, there's actually paranormal news.
Yes.
There's actually it was interesting. And it's actually from a news source. These articles we're kind of going from today are out of Newsweek.com. So I think most people have heard of Newsweek. At least heard the title. I'll warn you if you go to their website, there's a lot of pop-up ads and stuff like that. But some of these news stories are just they're about what you'd expect about paranormal news. It's a little goofy, a little weird. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but hey, it's out there. So, and it's paranormal, and that'd be kind of funny to take a look. I think
so. Tell people about this segment that we're going to do. So we're going to try to incorporate this segment and also ghostly gizmos in every week, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, every week or every so often, as we can find some new gadgets to play with. We want to kind of. We kind of want to change it up a little bit. We talk a lot about our experiences and, kind of the things that we know about, and we can talk for hours about things that we've done and seen and experienced and stuff. But it's also kind of fun to kind of look around the nation and see what the rest of the world is kind of thinking about the paranormal and, what people are finding interesting. Because along with this, a lot of these news segments that they include some like videos that have gone viral of supposed paranormal activity that we're going to kind of dive into as well in our upcoming shows, just kind of showing what's out there. And one, I think it'll be kind of fun for us to kind of take a look at these videos because we approach it more analytically, where it's like, okay, what is it that they're actually seeing? Is this something that could be possibly paranormal, or is it more likely not? And we've done something similar in the past where we looked at top 10, but I wanted to try to get more like actual really viral videos that people are just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, and be like, well, it's really not. So I want to be the destroyer of hopes and dreams. So people, I've got the greatest video ever.
Paranormal fantasies.
Yeah, no, you don't. No, you really don't. You've got the greatest piece of dust ever. You've got the greatest light flare ever. Yeah. So, but yeah. Anyway, that's we're kind of this is part of the reboot that we're doing. Kind of more of we're going to have a little bit more of a formulated program where it's going to be we're going to have some of these segments coming up, so something you guys can expect and look forward to. And also, if you have new stories like this, or you have videos that you think we should check out, you need to let us know. You can let us know on our Facebook page. Get a hold of us there, and send us some links that we can check out. And who knows, we might put your clip on our show.
Yeah, absolutely, or bring you on as a guest or whatever. We're always,
and I will destroy your hopes and dreams too.
Exactly. Well, you have a headline today, don't you?
Yeah,
I do have a headline today. This one was kind of interesting. So this is again off of Newsweek. And this comes out of North Carolina. And and this was just recently, 2 women in North Carolina they're facing criminal charges after being accused of causing severe injuries to 2 toddlers in their care. Pretty sad stuff there. However, their defense, their lawyer is defending them by citing paranormal activity, according to the local ABC affiliate WSOC. Both women were indicted by a grand jury on 2 counts each of felony child abuse. The charges are based on allegations that date back all the way to December of 2023. The children were said to have suffered multiple injuries, including burns, bite marks, broken bones, and they even tested positive for fentanyl. And yeah, fentanyl, that's some pretty dangerous stuff. The women claim that they'd been using a Ouija board to communicate with spirits, and that the injuries were caused by these spirits during the nightmares that children were having due to that situation. So that is the story right out of North Carolina. And
so they were convicted, right? Like they were convicted?
They were indicted. I don't think they've stood trial yet. So
wow.
But, what do you think of the defender going with the paranormal activity defense?
Here's the thing. I want to say, that there's going to be logical people on that jury that will look at this hooey and go, okay, this is a bunch of bunk. And even if it was paranormal activity, how did the ghosts get fentanyl? Do ghosts go up to like drug dealers and be like, hey, dude, I want some fentanyl. I want some, how does that happen? Because, there has to be like real life money involved and different things. So, and then I'm realizing I'm probably going to have to beep some of this out as I at some point, but I want to believe that there's going to be good and logical people on this jury. And the other part of me is in this place where there's sadly so many people that are not taking responsibility for themselves, and they throw nonsense onto other things like, oh, my parents did this, or this happened, or it's the dog's fault, or my dog ate my homework, and so sadly I you wonder what's going to happen on that, right? Like all you need are really a few logical people on that jury to go, this is a bunch of boohickey. And I think, to some degree, like, I mean, it's so sad that the children, are stuck in the middle, and the victims of such complete nonsense. And I mean, that just opens, I used to do, I was a legal secretary for a while, and, but it opens up a precedent, right? It does. It opens up a precedent moving forward. And that is in itself is very scary.
Yeah. In Canada, I'm curious how, because I'm not sure how your judicial system works. If it's
Our judicial system, Trevor, is if you murder somebody or you're a rapist or you've whatever, I mean, you might get a little bit of a spanking and then you're set loose again. Like our system in Canada truly sucks.
Do you have like jury selection like they do here in the United States, where they will, like, you have to, you'll get called to be a juror, like you have to serve jury duty? Is that a thing over there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've been able to get out of it every time. And that's the interesting thing, because you hope that you have people that are going to be like, okay, come on, this is obviously, it is what it is. Your claim is too outrageous. It's not, it's not in the water. But the way that they work, though, is like, you get the defense and you get the offense, and they get to sit there and they get to pick their teams. And so, well, I like this juror. I don't like this juror. I want this juror. Okay, well, you can't have this juror, but you can have this juror if I get this juror. So they're going to try to find those people that are just off kilter enough that they might actually buy into something like that. And so that's kind of the scary part about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you think, Lynda?
Well, first of all, I'd like to see all 12 jurors be like really good paranormal investigators. That would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Awesome. Yes.
All right. Well, first we need to do is go and investigate your home. So
exactly.
As long as they're not the kind that go in and be like, "It's a demon. I know it was a demon. It's a demon. It's always a demon."
Good paranormal investigation.
Yeah,
she didn't say Zach Baggins.
Yeah, no. Yeah, just legit ones. Absolutely legit ones. Oh, yeah. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it sets a dangerous precedent. But I mean, when you hear about something like this, as a paranormal investigator who has had cases that, are kind of like that, when people play with, spirit boards and they bring stuff in and you get it. I mean, you're both going, yeah, been there. So there's that little bit of, verity to it all, that, okay, so it might be right, it might be true, but then you go, really? So I don't know. I just think that you got to have, if this goes to trial, you've got to have an investigation into this. So honestly, it could be actually good for the paranormal field, because if they do want an investigation and they call in legitimate paranormal investigators who are able to debunk what these people are saying, wouldn't that be great?
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that'd be awesome. I mean, you talked about putting actual, they always want those, expert testimonies, right? And I think back to Ed and Lorraine Warren, where they had that movie about it. I think it was like the third one, where The Devil Made Me Do It. The Devil Made Me Do It.
Right,
and it was about that kid that murdered somebody, and then they claimed that he was possessed.
Yes.
They claimed, innocence by possession. Now, it didn't work out super well for the kid, although he did avoid the death penalty. But I guess there is kind of a precedence already set that you can kind of claim this type of defense.
Yeah.
But again, it's that, being able to prove, how, and it would be interesting to see how the judicial system would go about trying to figure that out, how the defenses would actually want to try to prove that,
Well, as long as they didn't hire some of these TV show ghost hunting type of people that are just like, oh my God, did you hear a noise? That would be good. Or, ones that scream and yell and touch me, I dare you. That kind of.
I agree.
So that's exactly what they would probably be doing, right? They wouldn't just hire, the Joe Blow investigator. They would be like, trying to bring in somebody who is well known and full of shit, technically, right?
And that's entirely possible, and that's the hard thing about, the legitimate paranormal teams are not famous. They're not the ones that are
they're not out there seeking fame.
They're the ones that, a lot of them just have small YouTube channels, with a modest following. They'll have some Facebook page or something like that where they're just they're posting what they get, what they and they're actually doing their due diligence, because honestly the real stuff, it's not sensational. It's not sensational enough. That's the biggest surprise people get when they come and they do like a public investigate for something. They're like, oh my gosh, I thought there was going to be like blood coming out of the walls, or crazy people were going to be levitating, and no, it's not. It's really not like that. And if it is, then there's something really, really wrong. In this case, Kathy, I'm kind of with you. Like, I've seen people that have been scratched. I've seen people that have been bruised. I've even seen bite marks on people.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like fentanyl, I mean, I know that, like, I will tell you that, yeah, I'm sure ghosts aren't like making physical transactions like, hey, bud, slip me a dime bag or whatever they call them. Half a kilo. I'm obviously not into drugs. But what I have had is like things disappear.
Yes.
Like, keys and, it's always keys. I don't know if it's keys or wallets or something.
They're shiny. Shiny.
You know where you set it down and it was there, and then it's gone, and then you come back later on and it's right back where it was again.
Yeah.
I don't really believe for a second that there's some sort of spirit out there that's like trying to slip little kids, roofies or something like that. So, but at the same time, when you start messing, and I say messing with, things like Ouija boards and stuff like that, when you start trying to invite spirits that don't belong there, that weren't there already, you have zero control over what is coming through or what you're inviting in. And usually the ones that are wanting to get in are the ones that aren't real good.
Yeah.
And so you kind of, and so, yeah, is there a possibility that maybe some of that is paranormal? There's a possibility, but all of it, definitely not. So either way, if these kids are getting hurt,
the thing, right? The bottom line is we all know that, for negative entities to enter a location in that extent, especially from what we're hearing, is it must have been a pretty strong infestation of some sort. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. You already got to be in a really crappy place from that, because if you're in a high vibrational energy, you're not going to draw in a negative energy. That's just the law of attraction. And that's just how it works. If you're in a good place and if you're in a strong emotional, mental form, you're not going to draw in anything negative. The vibrations do not match. It cannot happen. It just doesn't. And this is why some people, when they start, making a lot of money, or they're in a good place, or their vibration is getting higher and higher, that the low vibrational energies of people around them start to fall away. And this is where you start to lose, the friends, the lovers, even sometimes family, because they're not matching you. They're magnets. You cannot, they're oppositions. They cannot attract each other. And so when you're in a good place, you're not going to attract the negativity. And so if they're claiming this thing, whatever it is, that it's haunted or, possession or something like that, is doing this to their children, right? like, I mean, so where are you on that scale? You must have been in a really shitty place where you probably shouldn't have your freaking children anyway, to be honest. Like, maybe that's whatever. Maybe I sound very biased on that, but I don't care. But you probably shouldn't be raising children anyway. Like, honestly, or have them in your possession, like, because you've got to be in a really, 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 really crappy place for something to have that power to be able to come in and start behaving like this to your most precious loved ones.
Mhm.
Is what your children should be. Those are your most precious loved ones. And a normal parent, under any other circumstances, under any circumstances, is going to protect that child, no matter what it takes and no matter what it costs. And so if they are saying that, oh, I did this and this and this and this to my children, right? Or it was a spirit that did this and this and this and this and this to my children, then basically you're pretty much saying, like, you're in such a horrific state of emotional distress. Like, honestly, the way I look at it, and whatever, people can say what they want to say, I don't care, but you shouldn't be raising those children in the first place. Maybe you should have given them up.
Yeah, but they're going to say, of course, that they were under the influence of this malevolence.
But you're not going to be under the influence of the malevolence unless you're in a shitty place to begin with. That's the bottom line. You are not going to be in that place.
Well,
if you're not already there, if you're not already in a crappy place.
I get what you're saying.
It cannot happen.
No.
If you're in a high vibrational place, if you're in a strong, energetic, mentally, emotionally strong place, you cannot. It will not happen. A negative energy cannot affect you. And that's like a negative spirit cannot affect you, because you're not even going to see it. It's not even on your vibration. It's not anywhere in your energy field.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I can see where this would go too, because you're absolutely right. And I totally agree with you. But if they do say, well, I was blindsided by this force that,
but you can't if you're in a good place.
Board.
I mean, they can say it, but the bottom line is it's not going to happen if you're in a good place. You can't be blindsided by it because you're not even paying attention to it. It's not in your field.
But did they not say something about the dreams, Trevor? They said something about
after they claimed that after that they'd been using the Ouija board, that the kids began having nightmares, and that during the nightmares is when they were getting injured.
Okay.
There you go. So you've got that other that other thing called the nightmare, where you're in that different state, that different emotional, physical, mental state, where perhaps if your guard is down, then something may be able to enter into that state. But still, I mean, I don't know. I just think that there's just so much to it. It's like, I don't know.
It would be, I think that any jury that would fall for that nonsense should go to jail themselves for a while.
Well, they found OJ innocent too, so that's all I have to say. And I also agree. I mean, people that are in, typically a high vibrational state, and I understand all that, the positive attracts the positive, the negative attracts the negative. However, if you look at people that have had that tremendous success and you watch them, they are in that high vibrational state until they're not. And then they fall hard, and they get into alcohol, and they get into drugs, and they get into all that stuff, which shouldn't have been in their realm or in their radar, but it just does, because it takes just that one little moment of that negativity to creep in. And I think when we're dealing with things like, it just depends on the person, because honestly, a Ouija board is nothing more than a physical object with letters on it.
Well, it's no different than tarot cards. People can say that a tarot card, has, they're right here. Like, I'm fine. There's no ghosties. Yep. I'm good.
Yep. And
we're not killing anybody. We're not hurting my children.
For some people, also the connotation of those things has a different meaning. That it is associated somehow with something negative, and so they want to be a little bit adventurous. They're thinking, oh, this is going to be fun. I'm going to do something a little naughty, and they don't know what they're doing. And because there is that fear and that uncertainty, that is a negative emotion. That is a lower vibration emotion that would open a door to allow something to get a toehold, right? And I mean, I think that's what happens to a lot of good people. There are good people out there that have experienced really negative hauntings. Not necessarily demonic, but malevolent spirits and and negative spirits that just creep in. And it's like, okay, what opened the door for this? Because these are people who are, they're successful. They are, they don't drink, or they don't, they whatever, they have good family lives, and things happen. People who have emotional trauma. Sometimes, I mean, I thought I was in a good spot, but I had PTSD, didn't even know it. And man, I was just getting dumped on by just negative emotional, just everything. So I think there are opportunities for, there has to be some sort of opportunity for things like that to get a toehold in people's life, because I think that there are malevolent spirits that really like to go after those negative, low vibration people. But I think there's also an equal number or even more that want to tear down the high vibration people, that they just want to get in and get you. But anyway, I am super confident that North Carolina is going to do well with these two ladies, and they're going to get their just desserts. And I hope those kids get better, do well, and they find a loving home that they absolutely deserve. So, but yeah, so that's newsweek.com. If anybody wants to check that out, they are not our sponsors at all, and I am not promoting them in any sort of way, but that's just kind of where I found that story. Yeah, they've got all sorts of interesting stories like that, I guess, if you want to call them interesting. Interesting, the fact that they are actually happening. It's like, really? We're having this conversation? Are you serious? Anyway, so cool. So, all right. So it's ladies' choice. You guys want to do the other news story? You want to check out some videos?
Totally up to you. What do you think, Lynda?
I like videos. I think we should do a video. Let's go
do
for
some
it.
videos.
Let's go for the videos here.
All right. So this first video is this was a viral video. According to Newsweek, it got like several million, like 2.5 million views. So these people made some freaking cash off this video, because a ghost, they say, they catch an apparition that walks into the fire.
Oh,
Okay.
all right. Hang on a second. Let me put this up here. This is going to be interesting. Okay. All right. I have to make sure I'm doing the right one here. Yeah, this is it. Okay. This one. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Can you go full screen, Kathy?
I can, yeah.
There we go.
All right, ready? Oh. Wow. Okay. So that dog is definitely.
So they think that the dog is watching this thing. In the description, that the dog is tracking whatever it is that they see that's walking into the fire there. So you might have to play it again so everybody can make sure you see what we're talking about. So something right there.
Yeah. Wow. I'm going to shut off the volume because it's a little annoying. But let's go back here. So, I mean,
So you can see up
Hard
in
to
the upper
say,
right
because
hand
it is.
corner, 3.8 million views. 3.8
Yeah.
million. 3.8 million.
But here's the thing. I mean, obviously I edit video. And so I mean, that in itself was not hard. That's not hard to create. That particular, thing is that would be very, very easy to, to create. Right. So,
Well, and here's the thing: they didn't create that. I don't believe for a second that it was Photoshop. I don't think that they added anything to it. I think that was 100% a legitimate video. 100%.
Okay.
100% that they were looking, and that's what they caught. Absolutely, I believe it 100%. But is it a ghost? Was that an apparition? What do you think, Kathy?
What do you think it is?
I know what it is. I know exactly what it is.
Okay.
So I'm just curious of what your opinions are.
Well, I don't feel it's a ghost, but okay. What about you, Lynda?
Yeah, I don't think it's a ghost. I mean, especially with fire. And you would know about this, Trevor. There's so many people out there who send all kinds of videos of fire and seeing things in fire and all of that. I don't believe that that was a ghost at all. I think that there's some sort of an optical illusion that's created with fire and smoke. Yeah. So, Trevor, you know what it is. So
I know exactly what this is.
okay.
So it actually it didn't have to be fire. It could have been any light source at all. So if you watch the video specifically and you watch the movement of the camera, and as that fire comes into view, that's when all of a sudden you see this thing start to move across the screen. Not only is it moving across, it is tracking at the exact same speed that the camera is moving. Okay, so what you have is a light flare. That is all that is. It's a light flare from the fire. It is when you have in your phone, you have not just one, but you have multiple little lenses that are inside your cameras, and the light is reflecting off of each of those curved lenses, and it's creating this distorted image, and it's just a reflection of the light. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's really cool to look at because you're kind of like, whoa. And if you don't know what you're looking at, you'd be like, oh, I don't know what that is. That must be a ghost, but it's not. And we see that all the time. It is very, very common that we see our different types of light flares. You see them in all sorts of different colors and greens and blues and reds, and in this case, it's dark background. That's all it is. 100%. I would stake my next 10 paychecks on it. That is all it is. If they were to go back and forth with that camera, you would see that same light for it and go back and forth, back and forth. It wouldn't change. She didn't notice it. Allegedly, she didn't notice it originally. That she caught it later on. She saw it, and because that would be like if I was filming and I saw something like that while especially if I was investigating, right. I would. That's what I would do. I'd start moving back and forth to see if it would recreate. So it's like right there. So you can see how it's panning right along with the camera.
Yes.
And it's 100%. 100% light flare. 3.8 million views for a light flare, Lynda.
Oh, geez. Well, then we got to do some light flares, Trevor.
We got to do something. It's crazy.
Wow. Interesting.
Crazy, hey? Crazy. I tell ya.
Yeah.
And congratulations to them for all their success. But, it drives me nuts. It's like, I've got real like unexplainable stuff that I get 10 views on.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Light flare, I guess.
That's a good one. That was a good one.
I want to see what this one is. What is this one? It says, be right back, just hanging out.
Be right back, just hanging out.
Have you seen that one?
Is that the one with the car?
Yeah.
Yeah, check this one out.
Okay.
Okay, hang on.
This one's kind of interesting.
Okay. All right, here we go.
I don't know why they got to start like so long before the actual thing that happens, but wait for it.
Suspense, Trevor. Suspense.
It is a lot of. Yeah, keep waiting for it. We're still waiting.
Oh. That's kind of interesting. Well, if they didn't have the music, maybe we could hear it. But
Yeah, I don't know if you could hear the sound out there or not. You should be able to. It's like ring. Usually there's sound involved. So probably have to X out of that. We're going to see another video by that creator. So what'd you think?
this one here?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can't see that one. Hang on a minute.
You talking about the car one? You're still on the
That
car
was-
one, right?
Yeah, that was the car one. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was only the one. Huh?
Yeah, just that one.
I don't know. I mean, what kind of a car was that?
A pretty crappy one if the door's just flying open like that.
Well, the reason I was asking is that I think if you have like, is it a Tesla or something like that? You can press a button and then it goes into some weird mode where all the doors open and the trunk opens and all of that stuff.
Not a Tesla. You can tell by the look of it. It's definitely not a Tesla.
I don't know. Was there somebody hanging out in the car doing that? Come on.
There's that question, right? I have that question too.
Right.
What do you think it is?
Googling cars with remote control doors.
There you go.
It says yes, some cars have that. So allows the driver to unlock the car doors and activate the alarm system. Garage door openers. Don't start. So the interesting, so this is where I tell people you got to be really skeptical about things. Again, if you look, this one's got 3.4 million views. Okay.
What are the comments? I can't see any of the comments, but it might just be there is a comment.
They might have disabled them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The thing is we've got I'm moving my mouse cursor around like you guys can see it. I'm like highlight over here. We have the windows are super tinted, so we can't see if there's anybody in the back or not. It would be kind of hard. I would think that at one point we would have been able to see a hand move back real quick. But because it pops open the way it does initially, it's like it kind of pops open and then it's like, then it kind of.
Yeah, but what are these lights on they might be nothing, but what are those? Okay, here, hang on, get back here.
Yeah, what are those lights on the window?
The lights on the window. What are you talking about?
On the back window.
Yeah, wait for it, Trevor. Wait for it.
I'm waiting for it.
When she zooms in on the car, when they zoom in on it, you see the lights. See these?
Okay,
it looks like
these lights.
That's somebody standing there with their fucking cell phone camera.
Probably.
No, know what I mean?
Either that or it's a reflection of their porch light, maybe, if I'm being devil's advocate.
I don't know. Maybe.
Possibly.
But, it was definitely caught with a security camera of some sort.
You can look at the way it's moving. That's a person moving. You see what I mean? When you look at it, it looks literally like somebody standing there with their cell phone.
It does.
Looking in the.
It does.
Looking in the window with their little flash on their camera.
Right.
Yeah,
on their cell phone.
Well, and the other part too is they make green suits.
Look it. And then they move.
Yeah, could be. So like if everybody looks at my background, hello, I'm really not in this really cool whatever haunted place this is. I have a green screen. I have a green screen behind me, so I can change my background and stuff like that. Well, they make body suits that are green, 100% green. They cover your head, your face, everything. And if you have a filter, it's a simple program. You just you can download the filter into your video, and you will be 100% invisible in this stuff. There was a deal that somebody was using one of those SLS cameras that the old Xbox Kinect cameras.
Yes.
That could track, they look for human figures, and it creates kind of a skeleton figure of the person. Yeah. And this other video that I'll play on another show that goes viral because it shows this person's asleep on the couch, and then a ghost that kind of comes out down the hallway and goes and bends over and touches the person and walks up to the camera and then, walks away. Well, the guy either got found out or he went ahead and released the original footage, and it's him in a green suit and it caught everything, but it worked really well. It was a great hoax. So the hard part with these videos,
I'm wondering if those cameras that are recording it, you know what I mean, or they picked up on, or they're they're recording, like, it could be somebody definitely in a green suit, or or maybe the door's not locked, like closed all the way shut, right? So you just use a wire and pull it open. Like it's.
It could even been that anyway, depending on the type of door handle if it pulls out or whatever. There are a lot of reasons that car door could have opened. And there are a lot more reasons that are more logical than a ghost did it.
Yeah, so. A ghost just randomly walking down the street and opening up like that particular.
It's looking for fentanyl, so.
Right?
Fentanyl.
Maybe there's some in here. Yeah, just check the glove box.
No kidding. No, I want to see this one. I think we have time for like one more or something.
Well, this next video it's a short compilation, I think, of 3 or 4 videos in the same home. And I find this one I find this one pretty intriguing.
Okay.
Let's see here.
You want the sound on this one too, Kathy.
Hang on. Let me just start this one over.
Okay.
Yeah.
That kid is pretty confused.
Go away! Go away! What you want to do? No! Go away! Leave us alone! Leave us alone! Gina! You're not... Oh, what is this? Huh? What is this? Mama! Don't kick your... Mama! Mama! You're cool. Drop this. There is no one here. Oh, and you will opt again? No. I said 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I actually, you know what, the way that mother gets upset with her kid, that's real. That's real stuff. Like, we either that or she's a really, really, really good actress, because that.
And the kid too, 100%.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Like that kid, You know, the way he's react, and you can tell that he's not waiting for something to happen, like as if he was acting. Like he's going about doing his stuff. And you know what I mean? Like even with that ball underneath the chair there, that one that's roll, like he's not even paying any attention to it. It's not part of anything. And then, you know,
yeah, he was completely engrossed in his game, you know, and, you know, didn't feel the ball hit the chair. Yeah. It wasn't until somebody ripped the headphones off, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not bad.
Yeah.
I have more faith in that one, to be honest.
I find that to be much more believable than the first two videos. So in the very first part where the stroller gets pushed across the floor, and the way that he reacts to it when, you know, initially he screams and he takes off running, and then he comes back because they're like, oh, I got to get my sister, and then he doesn't know what to do. I've seen that happen to adults in situations like they're all of a sudden in this panic mode and they don't know what to do, and they move one direction, then they move the other direction, they move back to that direction. It is a very legitimate reaction. You know, the part where he can see something and the mom can't, it has been, you know, we talk about it all the time that children up to about the age of 10 or so are able to see in a broader light spectrum than adults can, because as we age, our eyes get damaged, our vision gets damaged. We can't see in the full light spectrum that kids do. However, we can retain some of that in our peripheral, which is why we see so much crap out of the corner of our eyes. You know, it's like, oh, I just saw something move out of the corner. I thought I saw a person on the corner of my eye, because we still have some of that light spectrum that we can see. Yeah. You know, the part that I kind of was like, well, maybe not, was when she throws the sheet and something catches it. You know, I'm like, well, what the heck is that? You know, how would that work? And all of a sudden, something's got it. You know, I thought that was pretty incredible. But you know, I have seen weirder things too. You know, I've seen objects get moved. But this, you know, again, he's just like, whoa, what the heck just happened? You know, it wasn't like, you know, in this one, you could almost try to debunk as well that, you know, there's somebody that's below the camera that's able to stand up and they're wearing some sort of, you know, sheet or something. But again, with his reaction, you know, it's just kind of like, what the heck? So.
Yeah, this one's more legitimate, I think, than the others for sure.
I mean, it just pops right up. There you go. So, you know, in the fact,
and I think, you know, he sees it in his monitor. Hey.
Yeah, like, maybe.
When you look at that, you can, you know, the way he's, you know, because that thing would have appeared behind him. Right? It would have appeared behind him.
Yeah. I can't tell if it's behind him or beside him. I was thinking maybe it was like kind of like where the door is. But I'm trying to see, where is it where he looks? Because it's like he hears something. Or maybe it is behind him. It very well could be behind him.
See the way he's sort of looking at that monitor, but then.
Yeah.
Right.
Like all of a sudden it pops up behind him. He's like, oh my gosh, there's something behind me, and he takes off. Because he didn't, I guess, if it was something that was like below towards the door, he probably wouldn't run towards it. His reaction so far,
he would have been running towards that white door over there.
I think he would have ran the other way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or backed up towards.
I think that he might have seen that in the monitor, and then you know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So the other part too is I'm not really sure what nationality this family is, but I can tell you that, you know, a lot of cultures they're so very spiritual, you know, and they are a lot of them are very prone to these type of things. I ran into it when I was in South America. It was amazing how in tune with the spiritual world these people are. And some of the stuff that was happening down there was pretty crazy. You know, I think in the society, the type of society that we live in up here, we are just so busy that we tend to tune everything out. We don't pay attention to it. And so we don't let it.
That's true.
We don't let things soak in, you know, we rationalize and move on with our day, you know? So, but yeah, that level of haunting, that would be in my opinion, a fun investigation. I think I would enjoy the heck out of looking at that. So.
I'm looking even at this. So the one thing that makes me a little weary is like, why would you throw a blanket at it?
Well, I think she was trying to just shoo it away or something
Right.
like that. I think that's all I mean, the same thing with the umbrella. I mean, she was like swinging an umbrella at the air. You know, she couldn't see anything, just trying to scare whatever it was there away. And I think she was just doing it for the sake of the kid. Like, go away, you know, leave him alone. And then all of a sudden, oh, there is something there. Oh, okay, let's get out of here, you know.
That was so bizarre.
Because clearly
even
the mom
ball, if you watch
isn't
the ball
seeing any of
move, like you can see that ball, like the way that it's moving, it's obviously not attached. It's like, you know, as if it was on a string or something like that, it really wouldn't work that way.
No, it would go more in a straight line.
Yeah, that one rolls kind of curved, and then it comes back, which I thought was interesting too, because it didn't have enough velocity to bounce off of anything.
That's true.
Poor kid. Well, I wonder how old this video.
I don't know.
I know, but it's got over 5 million views.
My goodness. Well, hopefully they at the very
the
least made some money.
Maybe they got to move.
Maybe, right? Into a less haunted.
Hopefully it didn't follow them.
Right?
Yeah.
That was
Anyway.
interesting.
Well, that's the paranormal news of the day. So
that is the and you know what? Look forward to more paranormal news coming into the future. And thanks, guys, for joining us again this week. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, and make sure that you subscribe or you follow us on a Facebook page and our Instagram, and you know, all of the social media platforms we're around. So thanks everybody for watching, and you take care and have an amazing night. Bye, guys.